Welcome to the Bogart Effect, a wealthy wisdom podcast. Please see important disclosure information at the end of the presentation.
I think, Mike, this is a great segue to talk about the value that an advisor should provide for the rest of your family, talking about the integrations there. Why don't you kind of give us some examples of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we talk about an advisor and kind of, advisor for life, that's, a phrase that I like to use is that, you want your advisor there for a long time. It's not just through retirement for the first couple of years or something like that. And legacy planning is also very important, making sure that your assets are passed on accordingly. So, you mentioned earlier about, having, a child or, a family member that's new to the workforce and being able to help them out and things like that. Having an advisor that can also be looking at the entire family dynamic as far as, what about my kids? The earlier you can start as far as savings, doing savvy financial moves, a little bit can add up over time and make a really big difference. And so if you can have an advisor that knows your family situation, that can also advise on your kids, well, you're getting your kids a leg up and a head start that I don't know how many times I've had, clients comment, wow, I really wish that I'd started working with an advisor a lot earlier so that I could start doing some of these things like backdoor Roths, mega backdoor, whatever it is. And, where would I be today if I'd started this 20, 30 years ago? Well, guess what? Your son or your daughter is now entering the workforce. While you didn't start that early, they can. And so that's a very, I think, valuable thing to be able to start passing on some of the techniques that we use or start using some of the techniques that we do very early on, basically.
Well, and just to give an example of the magnitude of this, right? So let's just say...
The previous podcast was intended for general information purposes only. The information discussed is no substitute for personalized investment advice from Bogart or another investment professional. Different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk, and it should not be assumed that the future performance of any specific investment, strategy, or service will be profitable, suitable, or successful. Bogart is not a law firm or accounting firm, and no portion of its services should be construed as legal or accounting advice. There is no guarantee a client will experience a certain level of results if Bogart is engaged. Our brochure describing services and fees can be found at www.bogartwealth.com.